All right, everybody. It's Warnings and Revelations 49, Part 2. So usually I listen to the one I did before I do another one, so kind of recap and finish my thoughts on some stuff that I might have went off into tangents on and not really fully explained. This one here, I'll try from memory to go over some of those things, but it's just been such a day that really I think this one's going to be more of a personal, about some personal stuff going on in my life, just to, I don't know, see if there's other people going out there going through the same thing. I know I went off into a tangent. I started talking about Lot and how he tried to get the people of Sodom to repent, and how he told them how they chose men over the women that God had given them for spouses, and that all this stuff coming from the left wing, that God's created them that way and this and that. It's a bunch of malarkey. I know I was talking about a legal issue, about some of that stuff in our society today, and how they're teaching children in school, not even to say boy or girl and stuff like that. But so I'll have to revisit that one, and maybe in the next one I'll kind of recap that. But myself, today in my personal life, I wanted to go over some things and just see if anybody else out there has gone through the frustration, and there's people out there understand what a scam, well, at least in Arizona and Pinal County, what a scam anything to do with paying child support is, and the divorce process and everything like that. And how something needs to be done to change it. Now, I didn't ask for my divorce. I didn't ask to be put through the hell that she put me through during the divorce, right after the divorce. My son certainly didn't ask for his 6th birthday to be yanked out of his home and put into strange surroundings with strange people, and be taken away from his father. I had to go through that, all those emotions and the anger and everything like that, over what was happening to him. It was one thing she wanted a divorce from me. That, hey, that's what you want, here you go. I'm not going to fight you for it. I'm tired of the bullshit. Here you go. Which I think probably pissed her off more, that I just said, fine, that's what you want. I didn't contest, should have contested the amount she wanted for child support. Means the court. I had to go to Florence. I had to work the night before. I worked late into the early morning hours. Couldn't make it to the court to do that. Well, I probably could have made it, but I'd have been there on no sleep and without a shower and everything like that. So I wasn't going to court like that. So she got her wishes in the divorce court. So I've paid my child support the past 12 years. And beings, if you're in this business, or maybe people out there who aren't in this business don't know, you don't always get a check. And I'm more or less self-employed. Actually, I am self-employed. I get a settlement from the company I'm contracted to. There are people in this industry and in the government who will argue whether or not I'm self-employed or not. They go back and forth on that because of how leasing is done. But for all intents and purposes, right now, legally, and for the past almost 10 years, with this outfit and then the outfit before, I've been self-employed. And so there's certain laws and stuff that cover that too. That, you know, if I'm self-employed and stuff, that you know, there's no reason, or there's no way they can somebody who's self-employed, so you don't have an employer that the state can say, hey, you got to withhold this much out of their check and this and that and everything. But being I'm steady employed, contracted to this carrier, I had them, which I paid a fee for all these years, every single time they did it, take out my child support and send it to the state of Arizona. I could have avoided all that and just paid it myself, and would have had to go to court and file papers or whatever to change the court order for withholding. Because when I went through my divorce, I was employed by a company and received a steady paycheck from them. And so they were withholding. So then when I stopped doing that and started leasing, I just left it that way in each place. This carrier and the carrier before that I went to had them withhold just as if I was an employee, and send my child support to the state. Because if you're in this business, you don't have time to take off, especially when the economy's bad. And I was living hand to mouth and stuff at the previous carrier, and just didn't have the time or the money to do anything about it. But she has always gotten paid, and also overpaid, because she's used my kid as a hostage. So I'd be paying my child support and then get a phone call about how they're going to repossess her car, she's going to get evicted, this or that, whatever it was. Always an emergency right there and then. She needed money. So I'm out on the road trying to find places to send money back. And after a while, I got to a point where it's like, look, you know, I'm not doing this no more or whatever and stuff. And then, but if I didn't get a settlement, right? And under the laws, if you don't get paid and stuff, supposedly, you know, you're not supposed to, you know, they're not supposed to keep taking child support. Well, on the times I didn't make enough money to pay child support, she still wanted her money anyway. Even though I'd previously helped her pay her bills and stuff like that over and above her child support. You know, if it didn't hit her card, you know, right away, I didn't get child support. Well, I gave you, $300-400 the other week to pay your car payment or whatever and stuff like. Well, I need, I need to pay bills. I need my child support. So I'd have to find some place to send more money. And there was times it cost me to be late on loads and stuff, and just all kinds of grief and time trying to find a place, either a Walmart or a truck stop. Walmart, I could send a MoneyGram, or a truck stop that had Western Union, having to stop and do all that shit. But I could get it done. And so then I started telling her, you know what? I'm just here. From now on, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking all that time and everything. If you need money, I will send you a check. You let me know in advance, I'll send you a check. So whatever, you get behind on anything, whatever like that, and you tell me at the last minute you need money, I'm going to say, sorry, I can't help you. I'll send you a check. Whoever it is going to have to wait. But of course, it would never go down that way. It would always be right there and then, and she has my son. I'm going to be evicted. They're going to start eviction. They want me out of here, by tomorrow night or whatever, if I don't pay. So again, I'd have to be finding a place. But when it came to my child support, when I get home, I would give her a check that would have 3 or 4, sometimes maybe only 2, advanced child support payments on them. I said, here, this is, because she'd be saying I need money. I said, you know what? Instead of paying this extra money to you all the time, here, I'm going to make out a check for $600 or whatever it was, and this will cover, 4 child support payments, weekly payments. You go pay your bills, whatever you need to do right now. But the next time that I don't get a settlement and you don't get your child support, you remember that you're 4 payments ahead. So you'd think that'd be good enough. Wasn't good enough. So then she gets breast cancer. Now, she had received a big settlement from when her mother died in the hospital and stuff, and stuff like that. Moved into her parents' house, which there was some deal between her and her sister where, according to her all the time, she lies through her whatever. So it was all probably a bunch of horseshit. She's telling me just to stick it to me some more and get more money out of me. But anyway, supposedly, she's going to lose the house and this and that because they didn't pay off the mortgage when she got the settlement and all this other shit and everything. Well, she had breast cancer. She's going through chemo and all this stuff. And she needed help. No one in her family would help her. The people she'd loaned money to wouldn't pay her back. All this kind of shit. And I was struggling at the time, really struggling. But I gave her money to pay her bills, all that time. Did it one single bit of my generosity and my kindness towards her have any effect, change anything on maybe her demeanor towards me? No, not in the long run. While she needed the help and everything, I'd get a pretend phone call here or there. How you doing? But it always turned to I needed more money. Nice as could be when she needed money. Well, I just thought I'd call and see what you're up to, this and that. And I knew as soon as the phone rang. Somebody needs more money. Like I said, she had my kid. What am I supposed to do? So at the same time, I gave her money and everything to pay her bills while she's going through chemo and all that. I got into trouble with the IRS, got behind with paying the IRS. What am I supposed to do? I got a choice: pay the IRS, pay my ex-wife, and keep my kid from being, according to her, thrown out in the street and being homeless. I've got no family or anyone to help me. There's no way I could have gotten custody of my son, taken the time and paid the legal expense and all this, and gotten custody of my son, and then been able to give him a home life, and gotten off the road and stuff, and been able to take care of him. And I damn sure wasn't going to trust him to daycares and all this other kind of crap. And then I always had the fear, and it's one of the reasons in the very beginning I didn't put up more of a fight to get custody of my son, was because I had a fear that he would end somehow, because she would do whatever in the legal system or whatever, that my son would end up in some kind of foster care or something. Justified or unjustified or whatever. I had that fear. And I had friends when I was growing up who were in foster care. And the horror stories they would tell me of things that either happened to them, other kids who were in the house, whether it was physical or sexual abuse and stuff, and in the media all that time when my son was little, all the time you're hearing about these priests and preachers raping kids, and these daycares and stuff raping kids, and the abuse and kids being killed and dropped off at daycare and being beaten by people. And so I was more afraid of something bad happening to him if I put up a fight. Maybe I should have. I don't know. So anyway, so it goes on and on and on like this. She's not only getting her child support, but then, she can't make her card payment. So-and-so didn't pay her back this much money. She's going to get evicted. They're going to shut the electric off, or, whatever. Then hearing, we're going to Universal Studios next week. Well, wait a minute. You couldn't pay your bills a couple of weeks ago. Now you're going on a trip to California. Oh, well, my sister's paying for, some bullshit. Or then off she go. Got money now. Wouldn't hear nothing from her. Nothing. When she got better and off her chemo and stuff. Right back to it. So then I tear my rotator cuff, and I'm out of work for 8 months collecting workman's comp. Now, under the laws of the state and everything like that, I could have filed, looking at, to modify my child support and all this and everything. I had no means or a way to friggin' do all that at the time. Especially if the other party puts up a fight, which she would have, even though I had given her help. I asked her during that time, hey, cut me a break here. I've helped you left and right. Cut me a break here on child support. And at that time, Obamacare goes into effect, so my health insurance went from $400 something a month to cover me and my son to over $800 something a month. So I got $600 a month in child support, $800 a month in medical bill or insurance, $1,000 a month in rent, plus all the other crap. I was eating spaghetti and fucking rice for 8 months. But when I did before I did rehab and was off for the 8 months, the hospital or the medical facility where the surgeon did the surgery on my arm required that I had a family pick me up from the hospital. So I'm taking a cab there. I can't just take a cab. No. You'll still be under anesthesia you might still be woozy, and we can't allow you to go. So you might get raped by the cabbie. Is more or less what they're saying. And I'm like, really? Are you serious? So I needed somebody to pick. They weren't going to do the surgery. If I did not have somebody there who was going to be there to pick me up, they were not going to do the surgery. So I've got nobody to ask. One of the cabbies that I'd used before told me, shit, man, you should told me I would have come and picked you up. I said, well, they wouldn't. He said I'd come and got you my personal car. You told him I'm your cousin or something. But didn't know that at the time. But anyway, so I figured, well, I've given her all this help and everything. Hey, can you pick me up after my surgery? And let my son spend the night after my surgery and stuff, just to kind of help me out, because they're telling me I'm going to be drugged up, and I'm not going to be able to use my right arm for anything. Well, I have to work and blah blah blah. Now, she was able to change her hours, and she was sort of in a management position. She would frequently leave the place of business to go do whatever. How do I know? Because she'd call me, usually when she needed money. So what are you doing? Oh, I'm running here, running there, whatever. Oh, I decided to take off early today. Stuff like that. But I need a ride. Oh, I have to work and blah, blah, blah. All this. Fine, I'll pay you $100. Okay, what time do I have to be there? So after all the help I gave her and everything, I got to pay her $100 for a ride home when I could have paid a cab $10. So at one point during all this and everything, I told her, I said, hey, because she told me she had talked to child support, and they showed that I was in arrears. Because all these times that I didn't get a settlement and they didn't get their money and stuff, they were showing me in arrears, even though I was paying her by personal check or Walmart MoneyGram or Western Union or whatever. I said, well, you fill out get something notarized and give it to them, showing that I'm not behind. Because she said, well, I told them over the phone, and they wouldn't accept that. And I said, well, get it in writing and give it to them, and then I want a copy. So she eventually begrudgingly did that, because I told her, I said, if you don't, you know what? I'm not giving you any extra more money. It's as simple as that. If you can't do that and tell them I'm not behind and I'm not a deadbeat father, then why the hell should I help you one iota with anything? You couldn't even give me a ride home from the friggin' hospital. So she begrudgingly did that. So then here, a few years later here, when it's getting close to the end of my paying child support, I called them to find out what I got to do, and they're like, well, you're behind. I'm not behind. So before my son turned 18 and stuff, I told her, and there were times, where she was asking for extra money. I said, fine. I said, you know what? You need to write down another thing, go get it notarized that I'm not behind, that I've been paying you. Oh, okay, I will. She'd show up, drop my son off. I give her the check for whatever, she needed for her car payment or whatever. I said, hey, you got that? Oh, no, I forgot to do it. I'll get it next time. She's blowing it off on purpose. So she could have some leverage at the end of everything and say, oh, no, you're behind. You still owe me. And I'm not. And I have, and I swear to you, whoever out there will listen to this, I have every checkbook, every bank statement, every MoneyGram, every Western Union receipt through the years that I have sent her for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars I am not behind. I'm not a deadbeat dad. If anything, she is way overpaid. So I have all that. And I swear to you, I'm telling you the truth. I have lived up to my responsibilities to take care of my son over and above what the court ordered. Whether he's needed a cell phone, he wanted a cell phone, she'd go out and get him a cell phone and then be bitching about how much it costs. I'd give her the money for the cell phone to keep her off his back. Every year when school came due, needed money for school clothes and this and that, or school supplies, here you go. His first car, when it came to the $2,000 car, I sent him the $2,000 for the car. Oh, they spent it on something else, supposedly the story I get. So his aunt loaned him the money to get the car, and he had to pay her back. It's like, really? I sent you the money for the car. You told me that's what the money I was sending you was going for, and then she used it for something else. Car needed tires. Here's the tires. Car needed to be fixed. Here's the money to fix the car. Oh, then he gets in an accident, wrecks the car. They total it. Didn't wreck it. There ain't no way in hell you're going to tell me it was totaled. He slid into a woman, hydroplaned, rear-ended her at a stoplight. He wasn't going that fast. But there's no way that car. But the insurance company told it because it was an old car, and wasn't worth the amount of repairs. So they need money for another car. Here you go. Send you what I can. And this whole time I was trying to catch up on my IRS payments. I was doing pretty good until I hurt my arm. Then I got behind again. Then when I came back to work, I owed the company $9,000, which they gladly took out of each settlement that I got. So it was impossible to pay them, pay child support. Pay my bills and still try to function and recovering after, tearing my rotator cuff, and still be out here, do the job. And then, of course, they'd have breakdowns and this and that and everything, but she always got paid. Always. So here we go now. My son turns 18. He's graduated, and under Arizona state law since 2012, once your child turns 18, and as long as they are out of school, your child support ends at the end of that month that they turn 18 into. That's what the law says. For some reason, not for Pinell County. Because when I called them and said, hey, does my child support stop automatically when you see my kid turned 18? What's your case number, this and that, and looks up. Oh no, you have to fill out a form and get her to sign it that she has no objections to ending child support. Oh, and it shows you're in arrears. I'm not in arrears. She's paid. She's always been paid, and I can prove it. Well, then you have to go to court then. If she won't sign this paper, do you think she'll sign that paper? Hey, you need to sign this so we can stop child support. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No. No, I don't. I'm not signing nothing. Well, thank you very much. And of course, right before this was going to end, she had to pull a stunt. She had to have some sort of excuse for doing this. So what she did was she invited the scumbag that she shacked up with before our divorce was even filed to my son's graduation. knowing full well if I went to my son's graduation and saw him there, would have ruined my son's graduation, because there's no way I'd have been able to control my anger. You know, his relationship is with her, not with my son. He didn't need to be there. It's my son's graduation, not his. What the fuck is he going to be there for? And even if I stayed on the other side of the room and was able to control my anger and everything and just be there for my son's graduation, I know at some point she would have come up, or they both would have come up, and she would have said or done something to move me, to put me in a position to where I lost my temper and made a scene at my son's graduation. So it would ruin that and my son's and mine's relationship. This is how this woman works. Trust me, I know. This shit was done on purpose. There was absolutely, positively no friggin' reason for him to be there. So rather than go and cause a big disturbance and ruin my son's graduation and probably get arrested, I didn't go. I took another load and left town. And it killed me to do it. So anyway, that was the reason for it. That was her way to get a big brouhaha going and a fight going. So that now when I say, hey, child support's getting in a month. Oh, no, it ain't. I'm not signing nothing. Because she's got a friend that's paralegal, and I'm guessing she's getting some kind of legal advice or whatever. Oh, you know what? As long as you don't sign that paper, he's got to keep paying. Until he can get you served and you can have a hearing in court and everything. Which works to her advantage too. Because you know what? I file the papers, and here's the kicker. I say, hey, I want to end my child support. State, is she going to sign? No. Well, you have to get the envelopes and the forms and everything and send them to her for her to request a hearing with the judge to give her a reason why she doesn't want the child support to end. Really? Why's the burden on me? Why? Arizona, Pinell County. Why is the burden on me like I'm some kind of freaking criminal? She wants to keep being paid. Let her go do the legwork and the paperwork and file everything. Why is the burden on me to provide her with the forms to screw me? Why, Arizona? Pinell County. When the law says if your child turns 18 and they've graduated school, that's the end of child support. Why, Pinell County? So anyway, she's going to make me go through this process. And then I know she's not going to answer the letters. So then I'm going to have her served. And once she's served and the court hearing's set and everything like that, then I'm going to have to try and be there. Because if I'm not there at a hearing, what happens in court? You lose automatically. So what's my other options? Hire a lawyer. And the whole process could run into the tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees. What a racket. Do you think anyone will ever get this system changed or anything? Hell no. Lawyers are getting paid. The court's getting paid. The state's getting paid. These women are getting paid. And you're fucked if you live in Arizona and you pay child support. Sorry, YouTube. You do everything right and live up to your obligations, and you're still treated like a criminal. Welcome to America. Thank you very much. All right, I'm gonna leave this at this point right here at this one, and maybe I'll continue it again. You all take care out there, and keep searching for the truth. I'm sorry this one was all personal stuff. I'll try and recap the first part of 49, and then I'll follow up on this one here. There's some other things I wanted to finish, but I think I need to figure out how to start a GoFundMe page to pay for legal shit and get this all taken care of. I just want it done. I want her out of my life. That's it, period. All right, take care out there.